Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and do your headlights look terrible? Do they look like a milkshake or don't give you any illumination at night? Let's fix that. All right, y'all, so let's talk about this project a little bit before we do it and the reasons why you're gonna wanna do this yourself. Now, for the last 25 plus years, almost every brand out there, your headlights have that plastic case over the front. They're sealed. We're not dealing with glass bulbs anymore, or glass headlight lenses of any way. They're all sealed behind plastic. And the bad news is that plastic can get beat up, it can get faded, it can get oxidized, it can do all these things that make your headlights look like you're running a flashlight through a milkshake. And that just isn't safe, and especially when it's such an easy fix. Now, I'm gonna wander a little off brand today. I'm gonna be doing this on a 22-year-old 4Runner. And all in all, the headlights are not that bad in the big comparison of things that I've seen out there. But I'm gonna walk you through this process and show you the reasons why you're gonna wanna do this. I see no reason to have fogged over, faded, and really terrible looking headlights when you can clean it so easily. Now, remember, I've always got all the products that I use linked in the video description below, and there are a million products you can use to clean your headlights. There's ones that require tools and ones that don't. There's homemade recipes depending on what you use. I'm a big fan of Griot's Garage. They have a great kit that comes with all the products you need to clean your headlights and sealed to protect them to help that last longer. All right, so let's go ahead and walk you through this whole process. Let's take a look at the 4Runner, and I'm gonna show you what we have to work with. All right, y'all, so let's take a look at what we have to work with here. So, like I said, this is like a 22, 23-year-old Toyota 4Runner, and all things considered, the headlights aren't in bad shape. Now, under my bright lights, right now, as I look at the camera, these actually look better than they do to the naked eye. And the fog lights, which we're gonna do at the same time, look even worse. You can see they're really kind of yellowed over and faded and oxidized. And, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, every car I see with heavily oxidized headlights, especially when how easy and cheap this is to fix, it drives me kind of crazy. I'm just like, why don't you fix that? So I really just want to share this process now. The details I go with today are going to be those specifically for the Griot's kit. And obviously there's a million different kits out there you can buy that are going to handle this differently. They're all similar to some degree, but the steps we go through, and I'll have the kit for Griot's linked in the video description. I really like their products. It's a good kit to use. It's got everything that you need, even including the gloves. So I highly recommend it. So make sure to check that out. It'll be linked in the description. Now, so the first thing we're gonna do, obviously I've popped the hood. Now, you're gonna wanna mask off everything with masking tape or painter's tape. I've lifted the hood, so there's no point in me having to mask off the hood. I'm also gonna mask around the fog lights as well. Last thing you wanna do, because we're gonna be using some sandpaper at one point, last thing we want to do is tear up your paint, even on an older car, right? The last thing you want to do is make an improvement and make something worse, all right? So I'm going to grab my painter's tape, and I'm going to mask off all these edges and tuck the paint in really, really tight. I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. All right, y'all, so as you can tell, it's all taped off, and I'm only gonna show one side at a time as I go through this, just because it's gonna be the same on the other side. So this is where you're gonna wanna take out the oxidation remover. This is a cloth inside here that's soaked in chemicals, so always make sure to use the gloves that they provided, and don't unfold it, because it comes all folded. Now, because what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to go in an up and down motion, and kind of medium pressure as we go through this. And we'll unfold it as the rag gets dirty. Now, keep in mind, your headlights might be much, much worse than these. And these are moderate. These are kind of on a scale of 1 to 10. I would probably give them about a 4, maybe. And I've seen some out there that I literally can't believe people don't clean their headlights. I mean, come on, guys. You can do this really, really simply, okay? Now, I'm also gonna be doing the fogs and the markers. So keep that in mind as you look at your car. Is there more than one surface or more than one light source that you can use these on? You could also potentially use these on your taillights. Now, yeah, that's really gross. So this is why you wear gloves. And I said, use kind of medium pressure and an up and down motion to get through this. Now, when this is done, and I'm gonna do the fog light and marker light here in a second, when this is done, you're gonna wanna rinse your headlights off. Now, the Forerunner's currently in my garage, so I'm probably just gonna hose it off and let the water run out. Ah, that's gross. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip it over while we're here. I'm gonna get the fog lights and marker light here as well. Oh, that's so nasty. And I can also see on the bottom part of the lens, looking in, you're probably not gonna be able to see it on the camera, but underneath, you can see where oxidation is actually gotten underneath the lens now. There's no way I can get to it without taking this lens out, but that's just gross. So already this is gonna make a huge difference. Oh yeah, that's sick. Now, the other thing, this particular kit comes with 2 cleaning pads and 2 protective, pads in their little sealed packages, right? So you can do both sides. So I'm gonna use one rag for one side and one for the other. Okay, already so much better. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this really needed it. So, I mean, depending on how bad your headlights are, I mean, one kit should do it. Man, can you guys see that already? That's amazing, actually. We haven't done any of the sanding yet or anything else. That's really kind of gross. All right, so you're gonna wanna clean these off. Once you're done scrubbing, you're gonna wanna hose them off entirely and then dry them. The next step, you're gonna wanna make sure that your headlights are completely dry. So go ahead and dry them off with a towel, give them a little bit of extra time so you don't have any water around or anything else. Now, if you do get this cleaning solution or material on your paint in any place, which is why we put the tape on, take it off immediately, because what you don't wanna do is damage your paint with this, which it can do, okay? So make sure that you don't, solving one problem, you don't create another. That's the worst kind of DIY work, right? Okay, man, I'm already really impressed. That makes such a difference. All right, so really good stuff there. So go ahead and get this stage done. I'm gonna do the other side as well off camera. I'm gonna rinse all this off, dry it all off, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, so now as you can see, the headlight's dry. That you can see a little bit of the oxidation. You can still see the film over it. You don't get that liquid effect that you had before. Now, this is where our little sanding block comes in. So it comes with this handy little grip, and you've got 3 different types of sanding pads. This one says 1,000 on the back. You'll also see 2,000, and you'll see 3,000. So we're gonna start with the 1,000, and ignore the label on my bottle, if you see it at some point. This is just clean water, right? So we're just gonna wanna mist the headlight down and keep it wet, and the sanding pad as well. So we're basically wet sanding the headlight, right? Now, the directions say make sure you don't go in circles. So just light pressure for about 3 to 4 minutes across the surface of the headlight. And what we're shooting for, and this is another reason why you tape off your painted surfaces, right? Now, make sure that it stays wet as you go through this process. And we're just gonna keep working on this through the surface, and we're gonna keep going until the runoff, as you can see, the runoff coming off the headlights, and you probably can't see it in the camera, which I get, is actually kind of yellowy. It's kind of gross. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue this process until it runs clear, essentially. And we're gonna make sure that you also don't miss any spots. So as you go through this, if you see any spots that look clear or look like you've missed them, make sure to go back over them really, really thoroughly, okay? Just keep using your mister bottle on the headlight surface and on your sanding pad. Now, you can also take the pad off if you need it to get up into some of the corners where you can't reach when it's on the block. I really appreciate very, very much that Griot includes the sanding block. Just makes it easier as we go through this. Now, I'm not cranking on this. I'm not going after it really, really hard. This is just a light sanding motion that we're going to go through. So at the point where your runoff off the headlight, it looks clear or white, it doesn't look yellow anymore, then we're going to want to switch to the other pads. But I wanna make sure that you get a good picture of this. Now, what you should have is kind of a uniform cloudy appearance here across the surface of the headlight. So I'm pretty close to this running clear or cloudy instead of yellow. So I think I'm about good with the 1,000 here. Now keep in mind, as I press on my sanding block, I get some of that yellow out of the block. But this whole process is going to be, you know, 3 to 4 minutes or so as you go through. Not bad. That kind of the cloudy appearance that we've given the headlight now looks to be uniform for me. I don't feel like I've really missed any spots. I'm going to make sure I get along the edges. I don't want to miss anything. But all in all, I think we're probably pretty good here at this point. Yeah, not bad. And again, I'm going to get yellow as I do that. But I feel like we're pretty uniform. Okay, so now like I said, I'm also going to be doing the fog lights and the running light down below, which you've seen on camera. But at the point where this is now done, you just peel this off, and you're going to go through the exact same process with the 2000. So I'm going to get this nicely centered, plop that in there. And these are finer and finer grit sandpaper. So 1000 is heavier than the 2. The 2 is heavier than the 3000, and so on. And we're just going to work our way non-circular as we go through this process, okay? And I expect this to go pretty quickly. I feel like the 1000 did a pretty good job, all in all. But what you do want to do is just take your time, be thorough, make sure you don't hit your paint, which is again why we use the tape, but pretty darn straightforward as we get through this. Okay, so I'm gonna make a couple more passes at this, but it really is this simple, just again and again and again through the surface of your headlight. Yeah, I definitely see some yellow there kind of in the residue, but all in all, as you can see, it's kind of getting more and more clear as we go. So I'm going to do some more passes with this, then I'm going to switch to the 3000 and get it all cleaned up really, really nicely. Off camera, I'm going to do the fog lights and do the other side, but it's the exact same process of this, so it shouldn't be hard. You can just follow along with that. Okay, so go ahead and get this process all done. Yeah, this is, oh man, wow, that's already really starting to look better. I am really impressed, and this is just the 2000. Okay, y'all, so go ahead and follow along, get caught up to this point, and then I'll show you the next steps. All right, so now that you've worked your way through all the sandpaper and all the grit and you're all done, dry thoroughly. Now what I found in my case is that my tape was doing a really good job of holding in water. So I took all my tape off. Now I'm gonna be extremely careful because they highly recommend you don't get this on your paint. So if you have to, go ahead and reapply all of your tape. Because of the way this headlight sits, I think I can get at it without hitting any of the paint. So obviously I didn't put my tape or replace my tape. I would suggest you probably do. Again, make sure you have gloves on. They also really recommend that you do this in a well-ventilated open space. So I've got my garage doors open. They say very light pressure. 1 coat only, so you get to see me do this live, with about a 50% overlap per pass. And 1 coat only. So I'm just gonna go very carefully as I go through here to get 1 even coat. When you're done with your sanding, your headlight should have a cloudy appearance. That means you did it right. It shouldn't have a yellow appearance, right? And if you had any yellow patches or feel like you missed a part that really you can still see color on it, then you go ahead and restart and redo your sanding. But as long as it's a uniform cloudy appearance, all white, then you did a good job. All right, so then I'm just gonna work my way up into the corner, just like that. I missed around the edges just a little bit. 1 nice uniform coat. Man, that looks so much better. So while we're sitting here, I'm gonna get the lower lights as well really carefully. And then you're gonna wanna use the other application rag or cloth on your other headlight. Okay, so don't use just one on both. Okay, and I'm gonna switch, and this might be a little off camera for you. I hope not. As we do this, all right. So very carefully all the way around up to the edge, about 50% overlap. And I'm gonna get right up along the top edge right there. And this is that Cerakote sealant that they use that will help protect the headlights. Okay, so at this point, you're done. All you need to do is give it 60 minutes. Don't put your car into bad weather. Don't drive it for about 60 minutes. Give this an opportunity to dry and properly protect your headlights. If you haven't done the other yet, go ahead and move over and get that done. But other than that, you're all done. Well done, good job. This is not a hard project, and I would encourage everyone to do this if you've got cloudy headlights. All right, y'all, so go ahead and clean up and put your tools away. And you can tell this is not a hard project to do. And I'll be honest with y'all, I walk around parking lots and I see cars with milkshake headlights, and it's not that I'm judging, honest. I want to go fix it for them. I'm like, here's a kit, let's go straighten this out for you, right? I mean, this is a peace of mind thing, this is a safety thing, to make sure that your car is as safe as it can be and restore your headlights to how they should have worked. And maybe you've never seen them that good. Well, let's do something about it, right? And I'm really grateful for Griot's Garage for making such a great kit. It's a fantastic way to do this. You don't need any tools or anything special, and just, you know, really honestly, less than half an hour. If you really hustle through it, you could probably get it done in 15 minutes. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to my channel, and I have a ton of content coming that I can't wait to share with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next project.